Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live. Go to Tracy Brown Live.
Hi, everyone. How are you? And thank you for coming on board for everyone that is on Block Talk Radio and that is also on YouTube. Hello and welcome. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Revelations. I thought that might be kind of cute, but I guess not. Revelations is kind of scary. I don't know about you, but just in reading it and not being a theologian is even worse, right? I'm reading it with my uneducated um, vision. Let's just say it that way. And when I say uneducated, I mean in terms of theological education and am I seeing the right things? Am I saying the right things? And I don't know. I just decided maybe it's okay to be uneducated. It's okay to just want to read it. Like it's okay to just go there and embrace it because I've noticed that most pastors don't give us any verses from Revelations. I think most pastors are equally as concerned about what Revelations means to the population that they're speaking to, right? So I think pastors are equally as uneducated in this chapter, let's say, in this chapter. And I feel like maybe we are in Revelations, and that's not to scare anyone. I think that there's a way to survive what we're going through in this COVID event. Now, that I truly believe. I believe there is a way to survive this. I think if we're going to survive this, we have to consider smarter ways of hearing God, right? Hearing Yahweh, hearing Buddha, right? I think there are countries out there that have figured it out, right? I'm from America, and we have not been able to figure out how to keep COVID at bay, but I don't know if we want to. I don't know if we want to. So, with all that being said, I think I'm talking to a population of people that might want to respect COVID. And, sometimes I feel like this is like Noah time, right? When God said to Noah, build that ark. And Noah was like, God, listen, listen, I got you. I hear you. I know that this is something that you want me to do, but God, they are laughing at me. And I understand you. You know me, God. Like, look at me. Like, we and I and you, we are one and the same. I can build this ark for you. People are laughing at me. And I'm not happy about that. And God was like, I hear you. It's registered. I got you to um, build that ark, right? And so imagine in this COVID experience, and you don't want to go outside, right? You don't want to send your kids to school, right? But They might send the COVID police after you if you don't send your kids to school, right? You also have to go to work. So how do you listen to God when your job says, you better get in here, right? How does all of that work for all of us? For you, for me? Listen, those answers I don't have. What I'm saying is, are we in an experience that, like, who do we listen to? I think is what I'm trying to say. Who do we listen to? Do we listen to the professionals that change their tune every single moment, right? Or do we listen to the Spirit of God inside of us that says, I asked you to sit down, I mean it? I don't know. I would think, I don't have a child out there, but I would think people would be torn right now as to what all of this could mean for you. I don't know. I'll tell you what I do know. I'm going to bring Melissa on. She knows. Melissa, do you know? Oh, wait, hold on a second. Melissa might know. Let me see something. Hold on. Oh, I get it. Ciao. All right, let's finish this. Let's go over here. Maybe Melissa might know. And if any of you would like to join us, there's people here already. Let's bring Melissa on and let's see what Melissa knows. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
How are you? Good health?
Good health, Melissa.
Oh.
Good health always.
It's so cold up here in New York.
I keep looking at the news and IG posts. How cold is it, Melissa?
Listen, like 6 degrees.
No way.
I have to say is that it was 6 degrees this morning.
Uh-huh.
So let me check right now. But I have to say now it's 10 degrees. It's cold. I'm not a person that wears gloves, right?
Uh-huh.
Because I like every year, I lose them. So I said, screw it.
You didn't get gloves?
It makes me feel like Mother Nature is stepping in. Like, she's like, COVID, let me in. She's like, you know what, if I got to make all these people get frostbite, they're all staying in the house.
Melissa, you didn't get gloves? You didn't get gloves this year?
No, I think that Mother Nature is like, let me step in a little bit. And she is bringing on a lot of cold front. Making it so cold, people don't want to leave their homes. They want to stay inside.
Oh, isn't that interesting? So she's going to keep y'all inside one way or the other.
Yeah.
I love that. Look at Mother Nature.
You know what? I'm going to make it so calm that people are going to stay in their homes. Like, it's cold. Like, yesterday I went and took my friend out to go to the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, that's
for,
nice.
Dinner for her birthday.
Nice.
And I have to tell you, the restaurant wasn't crowded. The mall wasn't crowded. And I was like, what's going on here? I said, it's too damn cold.
So I love that.
Make people stay inside.
I love that. So Mother Nature is working with COVID. Mother Nature's like, okay, so I got you, Melissa. That's really funny. That's really funny. Where Mother Nature is like, oh, they're not staying in? Ciao. I got this.
She's like, she's just diving in a little bit. She's like, you know when we have a thunderstorm, I feel like it's Mother Nature and God having their arguments together. I said, come on, can y'all make up?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but when I was growing up, if it was raining and sunny at the same time, they used to say it was the devil beating his wife. Craziness. Just craziness. And they would make us stop and look, and you're like, visioning the devil beating his wife. So all this stuff that just comes out of like myths, it's hilarious. So y'all
That
are
is so
cold right
funny.
now, huh? Y'all are cold
Mhm.
right now, huh, Melissa?
It is.
Oh my God, that
You
is
know what's
too
true? I
funny.
feel like true people are, you know, at my job, they're talking about giving us the booster again. And I was
Melissa,
like,
how many boosters are you gonna?
we might have to take a fourth booster. A fourth booster.
Melissa, come on, Melissa. That is too much. There's got to be some protest that now. What do you mean a fourth booster?
A fourth booster.
Melissa, come
And
on.
so I'm like, let me see if I'm on this list. I'm like, they're just poking. You know what? They're just making this out of a money thing.
It's a
For
money
everybody.
thing, Melissa.
You know, for all
It's
we
a
know, they
money
could be giving
thing.
us sugar and water
Are
in
they
a syringe
are they giving the elderly the booster?
just to make a buck.
Are they giving the elderly the
Yeah, the
booster?
elderly, when we get the booster shot, yeah, the elderly at my job, they got the booster shot. We got the booster shot, I think, like 3 months ago, I think.
So now the elderly is about to get the fourth booster shot.
Yeah.
Melissa, that's not approved.
So,
That's not approved. That has, I'm sorry, that is taking advantage of old people. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it is.
it's, to me, I know we didn't mean to go here, but let's go there. To me, it feels like whoever is authorizing the fourth booster to elderly places, whoever's authorizing this, is experimenting on them. You know? Because I know Israel is considering the fourth booster, and they too are doing it on the elderly.
Wow.
Yeah, Melissa.
Look at that on the other side of the world.
Yes, they've been very progressive about trying to combat the COVID. They have recently discovered they're not winning. So their newest suggestion is to give the fourth booster, but like you're saying, they're giving it to the elderly first.
Yeah. So when we get the boot, every time we get any type of shots at my job, the elderly get it and all the employees get it. And
Melissa, that's a money
I'm
grab.
just like, and now, yeah, and now they're saying that like, they're saying that now it's mandatory. So I feel like no matter, you know, it's,
Melissa, it's not mandatory though. They've got to show you paperwork that says that a fourth booster is mandatory. None of it is mandatory. Let's just get that started. But, you know, 3 is enough. And then, how back to back have you gotten the boosters?
Like how long? I feel like this. Okay, when everybody my job, they got the booster.
Right.
Some old people didn't do too well with it. Some people, it just made them sick.
Yeah.
You know, and some people handle it well.
Yes.
You know, and I realized too, some people just feel like they just don't want to die. They're like, well, I'll take anything. I just don't want to go. And I feel like we're all gonna go through the circle of life.
That's right.
And I feel like those people that just don't go, like they don't pass, and they're like in their hundreds. Sometimes, this is me. I think that that's like that person too miserable. I don't want them up here. They can stay to 100 and something. Keep them down there. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, cause I realize some people get so miserable when they get old, but I think that when you go through an experience of like being in the metaphysical world, like you don't have a fear of death because you know there's no end.
Yes.
Versus people that don't have that, they don't have that safety net. They just think, well, I gotta do something.
living is all they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a safety net. Like, you know, we can go and jump through we can jump on the safety net and realize no matter what happens, God.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And the people that there, they're just the safety net is just gonna just break.
Disappear. You know, Melissa, when I was younger, I feared death, right? Because I just didn't know what was on the other side. So that was like in my 20s, right? I didn't understand death. And so I did have a fear from it. The more I stepped into the spiritual world today, after so many years of just studying and embracing, like, I don't have the same fears anymore. I think it's all okay in the end. And I think as long as I'm trying to do the right thing, right, then that's the reason why I don't fear death. Right? It's like bigger than me. Like death is bigger than me. So how can I fear something if it's bigger than me? And death isn't even checking for me, although I think nowadays death is checking. Thank you. I think nowadays death is checking for everyone, right? Nowadays, right? I never felt like death was coming for me, right? But then you have those people that have cancer, that have terminal diseases, that have certain type of conditions that just leave them debilitating, right? And those are forms of death, like facing death, right? Especially like when you have a cancer, right? Although cancer, they say cancer is hope, but cancer does face death realistically, right? And so many people get to survive that cancer demon, right? Let's call it that. But this COVID thing, right? It's the first time that we're all facing death. And whether you acknowledge it or not,
it's not taking.
Say that again, Melissa.
Oh, I agree with you. It's
Yeah.
not like picky, or it's nobody's the chosen one anymore, and that's what hope is showing. You're not chosen anymore.
Exactly.
It's getting everybody.
Yes. And even death can be used as an example, right? Right? People don't seem to understand that even death can be used as an example. People don't get that. Like, some people come down to die, right? I'll give you a good example. Like the very first patient that came down with heart disease and met up with that particular doctor that gave him the artificial heart, right? Those two had to meet up. Maybe the one that has the heart condition couldn't survive because there were other factors in the person's body. But now the doctor can take the knowledge and allow others to live. So sometimes we come down as a sacrifice to live, to die. Right? And we don't always get to get it until we get it. But you don't get to see it until you get it.
It's like a greater purpose.
It's a greater purpose, right? And we don't always get to see it when it's happening. I'm pretty sure that, the husband or family member of that first artificial recipient, right, couldn't see it at the time, but years later, you could see where, and be very proud. Like, my husband was the recipient of the first, artificial yada, yada, yada. And look how many other people have been saved by this method. Right? So,
You know what I hear Spirit saying, Tracy? They keep saying cause and change.
there you go. What does that mean to you?
Like they're showing the cause, but it shows that
Mm-hmm.
even though it's the same as like it's the bigger picture, right?
Yes.
You know, it's greater than you. It's like COVID is showing us a cause, and we're going through a change.
Yes. And it's bigger
and
than
we can't
you.
stop change.
Huh?
Mhm.
It is bigger
We
than
can't
you.
stop change,
Thank you.
and change is bigger than us. Yeah, you're right. Mhm.
You know, Melissa, there's an old saying, and they bring it up in the tarot book, but I forget which card, where it says, you can't step into the same river twice because the river's always moving. So the river never stays the same. Right?
That's deep.
Exactly. So look at it another way. When you wake up every day, you're waking up into a different world. Because yesterday.
Isn't it like you're being like reborn?
Say that again now.
I said, isn't it feel like you're being reborn?
Yes.
Even though we're waking up.
Yes.
Every day. Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's kind of like, you know, one of my favorite movies is Groundhog's Day, right? Where somebody repeats.
I gotta watch that.
Oh, you will love that movie. You will love it because this guy is so miserable with his life, right? I mean, miserable. And he's so miserable. I forget how Groundhog's Day begins, like why it begins. I'm just at the point where the change occurred for him. And he was so miserable he couldn't see the beauty of waking up every day. So he would wake up and repeat the day of yesterday.
Mm.
But there were many yesterdays, and he didn't figure it out right away until he was like, wait a second, this happened yesterday. And then he begins to realize that every day was yesterday. So what was he missing?
Mm.
Yeah, what was he missing? And that movie showed me that what we all are missing every single day is that every day the world changed. Nothing about it stayed the same. The wind blew the change in the night. So there's not a branch on a tree that's the same. The ocean is never the same. The grass isn't pointing in the same direction as yesterday. So how do you get to wake up and stay the same?
Ooh. You know what our Spirit said, Tracy?
What's that?
The choices change. They keep saying choices change too.
There you go.
The choices we make change too.
There you go. So,
wow.
Wouldn't it be an amazing thing if we took this COVID experience? I like to call it an experience, right? That we're all in and recognize that change happens around us, whether we like it or not. But that change is beautiful. And if we could just be like the grass and the trees and accept and see it. And see it.
Mm-hmm.
Your mindset will be so at peace because today you realize that when you open your windows and open your door, let's go backwards. When you open your eyes, you're not in groundhog form. You've changed. Imagine how much more peace people would be if they understood the power of change.
Mm.
Right? I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
It's just beautiful when you think about it.
Thinking into this, Tracy. I hope they are thinking into this because it's just, you know, just know that you wake up to change every day.
Every day.
You know, as you were talking, I was thinking about the trees.
Yes.
You know, the trees watch something different every single day.
Yes.
Of us that maybe we don't notice because we don't pay attention.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We don't notice because we don't pay attention. But wouldn't it be different if you stepped out of your house today? Not you, Melissa, but we've got people listening. I know you pay attention to the birds, the animal. I know you out there listening.
Mm-hmm.
As I do too, Melissa.
Cracking me up, Tracy.
I know you, sometimes you be at that bus stop and you just be communicating with all forms of, you know, the elements and then the animals, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's so nice to be at such peace. Listen to this. While you're trying to go to work, waiting for the bus, cold, and yet you still acknowledge the elements, or the birds, or the butterfly, or the frog, or for me, it's lizards. I literally had a baby lizard crawl through my house yesterday, and I was like, how the fuck did you get in here? But I acknowledged the lizard. I said, get the fuck out, but that's, you know, I acknowledged it the best I could. Get out, lizard.
Yeah, you're like, I see you.
Yeah. Stop coming in my house, lizards. Y'all got plenty of people to bother. I don't know why y'all keep bothering my black ass. But to acknowledge that lizard, not to say to the lizard, I'm going to kill you, right? Right? That's not what I say to the lizard.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, God damn it, another lizard in my house. Jesus Christ. And I let it go wherever it's supposed to go. I'm not saying everyone can be like me, right? Some people don't like lizards. And sometimes you just got to kill the goddamn lizards. You got to exterminate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the acknowledgement. You know, some people just can't do. And that's okay too. God got you. He understands that. I'm saying the acknowledgement of knowing that something and other things are bigger out there, and that the world is always changing, and give gratitude to change.
And there's a greater purpose of why the lizard came to you.
Girl.
You know, or anybody, anything that comes to you.
Yes.
They have a greater, like, you got to get to animal totems and stuff and see why the animal is coming around you.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
You might not realize that, but maybe it could be a family member that passed. It could be their favorite animal, and you just realizing it today. You know?
That is so true.
It popped up to you.
That is so true, which is why, going back to COVID and death, which is why it's important to stay focused on living and living well, right? Because we're all facing a form of death now, right? It could be your family member, and it could be your family member that could save your life in a form of a lizard. You're absolutely right. And it's crazy talk, right, Melissa? It's completely crazy talk, but we believe, and that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. And you know what, too? The fact that that family member might feel that you might not handle them coming to you in the form of coming to you as a spirit, come to you as a ghost form. You might freak out. You might start screaming and feel like you're crazy.
Yeah.
They know that who can handle what.
Ah, good point.
Then, you know, for some people, they come to you, but they might not say anything to you because maybe that they feel like that's all the energy they can give. They don't want to give too much.
Yes.
They know you.
That is so true. They know what you can handle. That's so true. That's so true. But
They know
also,
you can't handle seeing.
huh?
No, I was saying no, go ahead. I was just saying that you know, they know what you can handle. 'Cause they know
Yes.
some people will see stuff and feel like they can't go sleep at night because they don't want to turn the light. You know.
Yes. Yes. All right. Melissa, let's get a chapter in. Because you know, once I start reading a chapter,
All right.
it's going to bring about other conversations, right? Which is so beautiful. I love the fact that we are doing Revelations, and I hope everyone else is. I haven't been looking at the comments, Melissa, so let me just look at the comments real quick. I'm literally locking my hair again, so hold on a second. While we're on the show, Melissa. Oh, Priestess, Priestess Ifashe says, good morning, Melissa. Jolie says, good morning.
Oh, good morning, Michelle.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good health. And Jolie, I'm just going to read a couple of things. There's so many diseases are taking people out, too. This is so true. Oh, Lottie said she wants to live at a riverbank.
Oh.
Just Z, I guess we're talking about lizards, and she goes, I had one on vacation in Barbados. Freaked me out. They can freak you out. They can. COVID is taking many people out. Yeah. Yeah. We're all living to die. We can escape it. Very true, Justly. Just Ivy. Yeah. Lottie wants to know, what sector do you work in, Melissa?
Who, me?
Uh-huh.
I'm a housekeeper. And I feel like, you know what, I'm a housekeeper. I clean for old people, and I always thought as a child that the old people were like people I glued myself to. I don't know, as a child, it's like I wanted to hang out with the old people.
Yes.
Hang out with my age.
Yes.
Don't ask me why. I don't know why, but my mom's like, she feels like my age. I'm in my late 30s.
Yes.
Should I say? But in my 20s, I just feel like I went backwards.
Yes.
I have the body, but I feel like I went backwards of being around people.
Yes. Yes.
I'm that girl who wants to say, I'm going to hang out with grandma, and that's it. I don't care about anybody else.
Yes.
That's the kind of relationship I had with old people.
Yes. Yeah. I like that though, Melissa, right? Because I think a lot of old people, people don't respect, right? Their children don't really want to be bothered with them half the times, right? And to have the patience to want to be around them, that is so beautiful, Melissa. That's a gift. And I thought you wanted to go into hospice too, Melissa.
You know what's funny? I have to say that I went and got a reading from Lamar Townsend, and
Okay.
I have this one of our group mates, and he talked to me about, you know, later on for me to do hospice, to go and count, you know, be there for be supportive for people when they're passing.
Yes.
Like to help them when they're passing their way.
Yes.
So I think that's cool that you brought that up.
Yeah.
I got that reading maybe a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm feeling the chill.
Yeah. You know, I just think it goes together with elderly life, right? To have that gift to be there for the elderly. I feel like your love of the elderly is the thing that could lead you to hospice care.
That is so cool. And he was telling me it helps them have a smooth transition of going on the other side.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get that for you, and I understand that completely. I'm so glad Lamar picked up on that because that's huge. You know, again, being able to deal with death.
Yeah.
You know, that's a beautiful thing. Not everybody can deal with it, and you have that gift. So just don't forget it. I don't know what it takes for you to be a hospice, you know, nurse or something, but just don't forget it. Don't forget that that might be your calling.
That is so cool. It's like I love how the fact that Spirit likes to validate and be like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna stick this in here today.
yeah,
Who's gonna know today?
yeah. And you know what, Melissa? I don't even know if I'm saying it right now. I know. Hold on a second. I know when I was in your age bracket, people would say things to me in a reading, and it wouldn't come true for 20 years later, right? But I think I'm just saying, don't forget. You know?
Definitely. I mean, I think it's a cool experience of just being there to help people. Like, even if they have to transition, I'm like just knowing that you can just be there to counsel them, as they go. To
Yes.
not have that. That's like Spirit using you to say, hey, this person's about to go. Let's,
Yes.
And again, I was thinking about the Adeline movie of how she died, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
then she came back.
Yes.
And how like time stopped.
Yes.
You see, when time won't stop for us because we're going through a change, just like the time changes.
Ah. Yes. Yeah.
Because I used to always hear all the time that when we go up there and get to go see God and everybody, that there's no such thing as time up there.
No.
Because
No.
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 Versus here. Mm-hmm.
Yes. None whatsoever. It doesn't have to be measured up there. Man measured time. I don't think time was meant to be measured down here either. Man measured time. But the one thing you have to give God a lot of credit, you have to give God credit when he's like, "Oh, you're measuring time? Okay, let's do this." Like he doesn't stop the development of something.
Yeah.
All right, Melissa, I'm going to hold on a second. Let me get my flashlight here. For some reason, I can't see. I'm going to read. Oh yeah, chapter.
Where are we on? I know we're on 9. Where did you stop at?
I think we stopped at. I remember they commanded not to harm the grass or the earth or any green thing, and then. Oh, I think we stopped at the angel from Euphrates, chapter 13. So we'll start there. Sounds good?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. So then the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God, saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." So the four angels who had been prepared for the hour and the day and the month and the year were released to kill a third of mankind. Listen to that. Listen to that, Melissa. Let's just stop and let's listen. Let's listen to God. How he always had angels ready, prepared. right?
But
So for one, I'd like to say for all of us, always be ready and prepared, because we don't know the hour of God, right? But if we don't take it that extreme, always be ready and prepared. And the way for us to always be ready and prepared for the hour is to lead with kindness and love and consideration. That is your full armor of God.
I love that.
Thank you, sweetie.
Kindness and courage.
Yes.
And compassion for others.
And compassion, which is a lot of everything we just mentioned is lacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's so odd when you
Right.
say that again. Would you say, Melissa?
No, I said I agree with you.
Yeah. And I just think it's so interesting that, you know, this part, because it's so odd when you look at the Bible through God's eyes, right? Like, and these angels, you know, and the 4 angels were bound for the great river Euphrates. And so the 4 angels had been prepared for the hour and a day and a month and a year. They were waiting. They always knew their job. Do you understand?
So they were preparing before.
Way before you and I were born, they were always prepared for the word. So, you know, there's some like odd stuff that I am noticing here. You know, like God is a good God, but God has angels prepared. And so then we have to go back to, but why would God have these angels prepared? Why? But then it goes back to us. The angels never have to strike. Their job is to stand ready, but they never have to strike. So if they get this order to strike, what are we doing wrong? What happened down here that the order had to be given? All right? Ooh, child, that is so deep.
It's like that is deep, and it's like you know, it's like men love men love war, right?
Yes.
And it's like God has his angels prepared, even though He has them prepared for whatever the day is.
Yes.
But they only strike when God says so.
Yes. Now,
So I feel like all the time when you say, I'm prepared, you know, make sure you have food in your house.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Toilet paper.
Yes.
Make sure you have.
Yes.
Because we just never know.
Yes. And similar to an army-like essence that these angels are prepared for, you know, this is the method of military, right? It's the same method of military. Prepare to strike, prepare to shoot. And when we give the order, do it. So now it's closer to home. Now it's not this big God that has these angels coming down and destroying us, right? Every military in the world that has a military system operates under this method. Prepare. Prepare to strike, prepare to shoot, learn, prepare. Prepare for war, even if there's none.
Even if there's none.
Yeah.
It made me feel like it's like almost like they're micromanaged.
Yes, they are.
Those words.
Yeah, they are micromanaged, Melissa. Ooh, child. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
they are. You mean military people, right? Is that what
Yeah.
you mean? Yeah, they are micromanaged. Prepare. So when people, like, I'm not saying people say this, maybe it's just me, right? Maybe I'm questioning. Maybe it's me. Maybe let's be really fair. Maybe I'm questioning. Wow, God, you had angels. One, you called them angels, right?
Mm.
Because our design of angels are, the good ship lollipop, right? Right? We don't see angels as
That's right.
preparing for war, right? And so now, what? An angel can be capable of annihilating? Like, really? But then you look at your son, your brother, your husband that goes off to war and they're taught to prepare and they're prepared to kill a whole town, Melissa, women and children. They're prepared to take the whole town out if the order is given. Do you understand?
I understand. You
And
know what, too? I realize, like, you know, it makes me feel like, honestly, I think angels are stronger than humans, right? Because that's how God probably made them, stronger than humans. I feel like they could just wipe out everybody and be like, we're done.
the angels, right?
Like, there's no. Yeah, I feel like there's like your weapons will not harm.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I was watching a little bit of that Transformer movie, and it kind of reminded me of seeing how they're shooting at the aliens, and they're not dying.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Melissa. I think by the time we get to Revelations, we're at a point where God's promise is still there, where He says, "You're right. Could they strike and just take everyone out at once?" Yeah. But we're at a point where by the time we get to Revelations, even God has looked at all of His creations, all of the mistakes that we have made, right? And I think God has even said to Himself, wow, I don't think that worked out so well when I allowed this. Like, God, feel like that was a mistake to allow, right? And so by the time we get to Revelations, God had already promised not to take us all out at once. So I think it's interesting that Revelations is increments of death. He's like, okay, this section, everybody go over here. But there might be another part of the world that's not being touched, right? For example, like again, I don't know if all this is biblical. I'm not saying that, but I'm just like looking at the ratio of things, right? Like when Tonga had the volcano eruption, right?
Yeah.
Well, Tonga, who was completely free of the COVID, by the way, they never had the COVID. I think if they had one case, it was one. And then you get this volcanic ash that's mixed with metal and smoke, and it goes up in the air, but when it lands, it invades your lungs, and then you die from volcanic ash. And so while that's happening over there, Melissa, you and I over here or in any other part of the world where it doesn't affect you, right? And I feel like that's what these
Right.
angels are. Like these angels, when God says, okay, go to this corner of the, it's not saying go to Tonga in the Bible, but it is saying like everyone doesn't get to go at the same time. I vowed never to do that again. But the earth is elevating. Yeah. The earth is elevating and the earth is shaking people off.
And that's the cause, right? Like you were talking about earlier about, it's like the cause
Yes.
of like everything happening from the volcano, from
Yep.
the COVID.
Yep.
It's like a big cause.
Yes. Yes. Hard to understand, of course, right? Hard to grasp the energy of God, right? Hard to understand even the why of God, right? But sometimes when you read something like Revelations, it's like little tiny things are being pieced together all of a sudden. Not that it's still making sense. It's still not making sense. But it's kind of making more sense than never having to read Revelations. You know?
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But the thing that's important when you ask the question, the angels could just take all of us out at the same time. And you're like, yeah, they can. That's not the order. Because that was a promise from God to never do that again.
Never do that.
But he did not say there's going to be a time when I have to take people out. He didn't say that. He just said, I'll never do that all at once. And Melissa, so that brings me to another point. So if we're back at Noah and God felt it very important to get rid of all of those people, right? Melissa, did we never not grow from that? Like, is there something in human nature that could allow God yet again to have to go through this, even with his promise? Like, what is it about us? I mean, when there's increments of having, and these are things that we know, having Jesus, and they treated him terribly, right? So imagine on a small scale when nobody gets to see, like, how kind are you really? So how
That's
bad
really
were
deep,
humans
man.
that God had to take us all out? That sounds crazy to me. Could they have been any worse than today's version?
It's almost like, you know, like they say how history always repeats itself.
Thank you.
But people don't realize that it might repeat itself, but it's always different events.
Yes.
It's not the same thing.
Yes. But history always repeats itself. You're so right about that, Melissa.
It's like if we don't learn from the change,
yes,
then we're going to keep getting the call.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And learning from the change is one of the hardest things, because the one thing, you know, if you give time a chance, right? It's easy to forget. It's easy not to remember things if you let time take its toll, right? We know that just from Black history, right? People want us to forget. I remember, was it in Georgia or North Carolina, in one of the tarot cards, right, where they annihilated a whole community of Black people, and then to cover it up, they planted orange trees. Right. You know what I mean? Like, there's just all of this, you know, give time a chance, and time can erase history, right? In New York City, we had a burial ground, and somewhere along the history, somebody built an office building. And so it's so funny because the office building couldn't stand, right? Years later. Like, so they were forced to tear it down and rebuild another office building. When they tore it down, they discovered bones. When they looked at the history, it was a whole Black burial ground. And now
it was like it wasn't meant to be. It was like it wasn't meant to. It was meant to be revisit and rebuild.
Yes. And so I say that to say, like, who were we as humans back in Noah's time that God had to do this? Who were we? How horrible. Like, does anybody think about that? How horrible were we during Noah's time? How horrible were we that God felt it like, oh, these people, I can't take them. I can't imagine it. But then when I'm looking at COVID, I feel like COVID is the same thing. These people, go send down the disease. I'm done. I don't know. Maybe I think too hard, Melissa.
No, well, I don't think you're being too hard, because if you think about it, what if we all were, I definitely feel like we all got past lives and stuff.
Yes.
So we definitely was in Noah's time. We must have really pissed God off.
Yes.
To wipe us all out. Like,
yes.
He was just like, you know what, I'm done. I need a break. And it was like a reset. He needed to reset everything he did.
It was a reset, yes. It was absolutely a reset. A mandatory reset. And I think this is COVID. I think COVID is a reset. What disease do you know, other than Noah, that hits the whole world? And Lottie goes, and some of us are not that fast at learning. All right, let's get back. It's just, little things are just so, like, poignant in Revelations. Okay, so the four angels who had been prepared for the hour and a day and a month and a year were released to kill a third of mankind. Listen to that, right? Not the whole world, Melissa. A third of mankind.
And it was in threes, huh?
I don't know. Why do you say it was in threes? What are you understanding?
Well, when you say third, it just makes me feel like it has. I always heard this saying as a child. My grandma always used to tell me that bad things always happen in threes.
Yes. So I don't know if it's in third yet. Let's look on and see if that was God's intention for a third, right? So, chapter 9:13. Wait. Okay. Chapter 9:16. Now the number of the army of the horsemen was 200 million. I heard the number of them, and thus I saw the horses in the vision. Those who sat on them had breastplates of fiery red, hyacinth blue, and sulfur yellow. And the heads of the horses were like the heads of lions, and out of their mouths came fire, smoke, and brimstone. By these three plagues, a third of mankind was killed. By the fire, and the smoke, and the brimstone, which came out of their mouths. Now, again, that could be volcanoes, right? That could be Colorado fires. That could be California fires, right? For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails are like serpents having heads, and with them they do no harm. But the rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands, that they should not worship demons and idols of gold, silver, brass, stone, and wood, which can never see, nor hear, nor walk. And they did not repent of their murders, or their sorceries, or their sexual immorality, or their thefts. Oh, that's pretty deep, huh? Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're at Revelation.
You know what? It makes me feel like I'm there.
Right?
It really makes me feel like I'm there.
I feel like you might think you're there because there is now. Right? Right? Like, why do we have a sex trafficking issue, Melissa? Right? Is that really a new thing? The word is new, but is that something that's always been an issue? Right? Child molestation, right? That's not new.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's not new.
Murders. Cain and Abel
That's
were the
not new.
Cain and Abel, you know, where's your brother? As God sees blood streaming down the street. He's like, where's your brother? Right? Murder's not new. Right? Or there's sorceries.
Right.
Or there's sorceries. Is sorceries like magic? Sometimes let me look up the word sorceries, Melissa. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Thank you. I'm so excited.
When I hear the word sorcery, it makes me. Oh, no, go ahead, Tracy.
No. No, I was reading a text message. It's all good.
Oh, you said, how do you say that word? A sorcerer? They said a sorcerer?
Yeah, well, it says here, right? Hold on, let me just do this text message after the 28th. It says here, and they did not repent of their murders or their sorceries. And I'm just like wanting to see, maybe I don't know what sorceries is, and maybe, is it a bad thing? Right?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it just sounds like someone who's a wizard.
Well, according to the Google, it's bad magic.
Oh, it's bad magic.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So what God is saying, because listen, Melissa, everything on this earth can be used for magic. Every single leaf, plant, flower, grass, it all can be used for magic, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So the way they're describing it here, but I do know that in Disney movies, the word sorcery, I think, has been used for the greater good, right? Right? A sorcerer. Oh, he was a sorcerer. Right. And maybe not recognizing, like making something good out of the word. According to Google, it's bad magic. And I don't know about you, Melissa. I don't know if you got any of these readings, but I get readings where they're like, this woman is taking away my man, Tracy, and what, I need some magic, Tracy, because this ain't right, Tracy. And I'm like, yeah.
I thought about it and I said,
Go ahead,
I
Melissa.
thought about you because I know that you said all the time, if you're going to do magic, you do it for the greater good, and you only do magic. If you want, you do magic on yourself.
Yep.
You don't do magic to harm others.
Nope. If you so big and bad, do it on you. Right?
Don't call no ex-boyfriend back. Don't call him back. Don't call him to come over your house. Don't do it.
You're going to get a zombie that you can't get rid of. I'm not saying that there aren't times when the magic doesn't work, right? I'm saying don't mess with shit you know nothing about. Nothing. Don't conjure up that energy because you need to win, or he was mine, or your heart is so broken that you can't imagine being alone without this person. Like, I understand all that energy. I get it. But please just don't do magic to draw that energy back in. You don't know what you're doing. It can be very, very hurtful, Melissa.
You know what, too?
Mm-hmm.
It's like obsession.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know what I thought about that movie, The Craft?
Yes.
And you know, like with the 4 girls, and just knowing that one girl decided that she wanted the guy to fall in love with her.
Yes.
And the guy was so obsessed with her, he just couldn't stop. He couldn't even sleep because all he thought about was her.
Yes. The Craft is a really good movie for how this magic can go so freaking wrong. Yes. Yeah. And then remember, the one girl recognized that her friends had become obsessed and evil with it, right? And then they went after her. That was the Rachel True character. They went after her then. But in the end, because she recognized that this was not the right thing, she wound up saving the day. You know? Yeah. Very interesting.
For the greater good.
For the greater good. Yes.
She recognized the wrong.
Yes. And that brings me to another point. Like, you could make mistakes, but when you see it, you recognize it, you know, change immediately. Don't go with the masses and think, well, I have no choice. No, you always have a choice to do right. Always. You know?
You always do. And you see how those girls, they lost their power because they abused the power that God gave them.
Yes.
So he took it away.
Yes. And notice her power got stronger when it came down to the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it came down to the battle, she got all of the strength. If not, maybe some of their strength too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She definitely. She recognized her wrong. She recognized, you know, when you do magic, you have to remember it. How you can say it can magnify what 10 times or 3 times.
I think it could magnify, you know, any version of, you know, 3 times to 100 times. Good or bad. Good or bad.
Good or bad.
Good or bad. And then remember, right, then the objective, like, let's using her as an example, the objective is to never use your magic for bad. Because once you know, you change. So we don't get that part of the story.
You're
I don't
right.
think
You do change.
you do. Change. Yep. Once you know, and you know that you can wield this power, imagine having that knowledge, right? You don't want to abuse it anymore, right? right?
That's
Like
right.
a lot of people in our group, in our book club, you know, y'all are just increasing your powers, right? I'm seeing it, right? So imagine to have
That's right.
this capability and abusing it, right?
And then your aura change when you abuse your when
Mm-hmm.
you abuse your
Mm-hmm.
you know, your powers that you get.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Mm.
But we never got to see like Craft Part 2, but I personally can't imagine that her whole life didn't change, and to always operate from a place of discipline, right? Because she's so powerful, right? That you have to harness it well.
Right.
You have to harness it. You have to know when and why and how you use it. And sometimes it means not using
That's
it,
true.
right?
And I love that you say discipline, because people always feel like when they get magic work done, they expect results in one day. That doesn't happen.
That is probably my favorite part.
It's a will.
Yes.
Hmm?
That's probably my favorite part, Melissa, because the magic is in you, right? So when we
Right.
create a system to change something for us, right? So we create a system like candle magic, if we're asking for some changes, right? We have to
That's
then
right.
move about the country to get those changes done. Like, for instance, you can't do love magic and not flirt. You can't do love magic
You're
and
right. You got to put in the work.
you gotta put in the work. You can't do love magic and just not like nowadays you can only go online, which is the saddest thing ever, but at least go online. It's not the best method, but at least do it because it's practice. It gives you an opportunity to get someone to talk to you. You talk to someone. And then once that practice is there, you might be at the groceries and you might be like, oh my God, this guy is talking to me. And in your mind, you might be like, flirt, flirt. You already practiced it online. You know how to do it. And you'd be like, oh my God, I love the color of your shirt. And bingo, bango, you get to tell people you actually met him at the groceries, at the gym, whatever.
Yeah.
But online is a way to practice. But doing candle magic and not doing the work, child, that ain't nothing. That's just lighting a candle.
Definitely, yeah. You gotta because lighting the candle, you put the energy in it. Now you have to go put in the work, the effort to get that.
Yep.
You know, that's like you're saying. I want to have money in my I'm lighting their money candle. Yeah, you can light yourself a money candle, but you maybe gonna have to go a few steps.
Yes.
Willing the money to you and changing your mindset on saying that, oh my God, every time that I'm only got $1 in my account, I'm broke.
Mm-hmm.
No, you need to say, you know what, I got $1 in my account because I ain't blessed.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna accumulate. You know, and you're thinking,
will.
oh my God, I got all these bills.
Yep.
You panic.
Yeah. Or
but
even, I remember I remember wanting to switch jobs. I was doing HR for a staffing agency. Hated the job, right?
Yeah.
And so I did a candle to find another job, right, Melissa? And what came through but a part-time job at Target. and it was during Christmas. So I said, well, God, I'll tell you what. I'm bargaining with God, right? But I was like, okay, God, I'll tell you what. I'll keep the full-time job, and I'll work part-time because, I need the extra money. It turns out,
Yeah.
right after I was supposed to leave Target, like the job was supposed to end January 7th, my other job, I began to really, really hate. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give myself a break. I'm going to leave the HR job, and I'm just going to work at Target part-time. And so I wound up working at Target part-time and doing psychic work part-time. And Melissa, I did that for 8 years. But remember, I lit a candle on it. And what God showed me was Target. So what if I didn't listen? What if I was like, I ain't working at Target. Forget that. But the part-time job at Target let me be a psychic, whereas the full-time job wouldn't let me be a psychic. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So it's like, it gave you the time to actually get to do what you love.
Yeah.
Without being somewhere that you were miserable. Because when you're miserable at somewhere, you become depressed.
It's the worst.
And not only that, but God showed that no matter where you was at, no matter, even though it was a big change of doing part-time.
Yes.
He still provided for you.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And could I hear him well? Right? Could I hear God talking to me? He's like, oh, you need a job? Right? You want more money? Okay, take this job at Target, right? And what if I was snooty? Because I was working HR. What if I was snooty and I was like, God, you got jokes. I'm not taking this job. And, I really feel like my blessings came because of Target. That was my blessing. Yeah. I didn't know it at the time, Melissa. I'm hindsight. I'm 10 years out of Target. Right? I didn't know it at the time, but it turned out to be a blessing because that's when I got to work on my psychic craft at a whole nother store. It was, in hindsight, it was beautiful.
I love that. It's like, it was beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was like not only it made time for what you really wanted.
Yes.
It's like you say, I want this kind of career.
Yes.
Well, you're gonna have to, take those steps into. You never know how God's gonna bring it to you.
Yes.
And that's another thing. If you don't be specific when you're doing candle magic,
Yeah.
you could. It could be a big roller coaster.
Yes. Yes. But also, Melissa, just to give you an example, I didn't know that I was going to be working part-time at a psychic store. I didn't know this. I lit a candle for, I think I was trying to change jobs, really. I was like, God, I need to change jobs. I don't want to stay here. But Target called. And I was like, after working at Target, I realized I had a lot of freedom. Huh?
That was your wisdom from God, like they make someone for you out of the blue.
Yes. But it wasn't until I was part-time at Target, which I stayed part-time, by the way. I never went full-time. It wasn't until I was part-time that I passed a store and I was like, are you looking for, readers? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, well, I actually work part-time and these are my hours. And they were like, oh, we could work around that because they had shifts. And it was like, I didn't know I was going to, but see, and that's the thing about God, right? Sometimes you have to trust the universe. Like, I was working at Target. Like, who does that?
Wow. And just knowing, like, you pass by a place and your gut tells you to go walk in.
Yes.
You're like, what? Am I doing this for real?
Yes.
You just never know what the outcome's going to be.
Yes.
Unless you walk through that door.
Yes. Right. And I was like, are you guys looking for people? And they're like, yeah, we are. And I was like, okay, can I apply? And they were like, yeah. And then my boss, when he called me in for a reading, he goes, I was prepared to read him. And he was like, I don't get readings from psychics. He's like, I'll know if you're good because the clientele will tell me. And I was like, oh. And this store that I worked out of was the first time I had gotten paid for a reading, Melissa. And the first time I had ever worked for the public. And I must have worked for that store for 8 years, Melissa. Yeah.
Good number.
Yeah. And then from there, I went to the Green Man store, right? And I was still working at Target, even when I was at the Green Man store. You know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I love the fact that you got to see, like, being in Target, you know, it's like you had to, it's like basically, no matter what was going on, again, I just feel like, you know, that God was providing to make sure
God
you
will
be ahead,
provide.
food, transportation,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and
all
still
of
get
it.
to go and do what you really love.
Yes. Yes, all of it. And again, in hindsight, I could see all of this. In hindsight, I'm not explaining it well. But the Target job had nothing to do with psychic work. Like, it didn't go together. I was just like, I kind of like Target. After working there part-time with the Christmas people, it allows me to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I could talk to people and be like, oh my God, I love this outfit that you picked together. I mean, it got written up at Target all the time because the one thing they kept saying was that I talk too much. I was like, you're writing me up because I talk too much? Okay. Fine. But it was the only gift.
You know what, too? Maybe they were jealous too. I mean, if you're going to be complaining about someone talking too much, then they were jealous too because maybe, you know, you're light and you giving the advice of saying, that's a pretty color. Or, you know, if someone's upset, you're like, oh, you know what? I think you should just go and get yourself some coffee and pastry for that day. It's kind of like you're tapping in a little bit.
Yes.
And they were like, wait a minute. You know, sometimes when people's light is too bright,
Yes.
people get jealous even in the workplace.
Yes.
It's true.
No, they
don't want to see nobody happy.
I think I didn't understand it, but as I got more in depth in psychic work, it definitely is, the light is too bright for some people, even though they hired you to talk. I'm like, y'all hired me to talk.
You do customer service all day long.
That's my job.
Customer service all day long. There's no.
It was so funny. I'm like, that's my job, but you want me to sign this paperwork because I talk too much. Okay. But in any case, I'm just trying to get to a point of when we got onto candle magic and sorcery, because they mentioned sorcery here, and all of a sudden I was like, well, why is sorcery a bad thing? But it's malevolent. I'm not going to pronounce the word right. Malevolent. I'm not pronouncing the word right. Malevolent. It's bad magic. Although they use the word witchcraft, we now know that witchcraft is not bad magic. But Melissa, in your lifetime, have you ever seriously ever seen someone do bad magic?
Have I ever seen anybody do bad magic? Well, I've seen people do bad magic in a movie.
Right.
But, again, I think bad magic could be someone's obsession. Or, you know who do bad magic? The ones that scam. The scammers do bad magic.
Ah, what a good example.
No cash up and them. They are the sorcerers. That's Google word. They are the sorcerers.
Melissa, that's a really good example.
Ooh.
That's an excellent example. Yes.
Scammers.
Psychic scammers. They're doing bad magic. But also, Melissa, again, I'm a different age bracket from you. And back in the day, magic was hidden. Right? And so you did have people that did bad magic. They would put crazy shit in a bottle, and they would actually put it on display to show you the bad magic, because back in the day, again, I'm aging myself, but people loved those type of people that did bad magic, Melissa. So I've been at the forefront of people doing bad magic, and you're just like, why do you need hair of somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're young, and you're like, why did you have to take your boyfriend's hair? You know, and they're like, shut up, Tracy. And I'm like, okay, but, and then you go inside the store, and they would have these, what do you call those bottles? Preservative bottles, right? They have these preservative bottles, and there would be things inside the preservative bottles, weird looking things. Right? Yes.
Right.
And you're young, so you're not processing everything until you're like, wait, you start putting things together later, not in a moment, but yeah, I knew people that did bad magic. Yeah. And thought it was okay to do bad magic because, I don't know, it was the thing, I don't know. But it was one of the main reasons why I teach people, don't try it. Don't try it.
Yeah.
Don't try it. Because,
you know what, Tracy? I'm being shown a triangle.
Oh, interesting. And what is the triangle,
because if you
sweetie?
think about the person that's doing the magic.
Oh, that it comes back around? It boomerangs back?
Yeah, because Spirit's showing me a triangle. So you gotta think about it, and then we talked about the number 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the person goes to the person that's doing the bad magic, and then it goes to the person that they want to talk to, and then but there's no ending to that. There is no ending. It goes back.
Yes. Oh my God, there is no ending. You know why there's no ending? I'll tell you why, because I've seen it, right? So you put bad magic on somebody, right? Let's say it's your boyfriend, or let's say it's somebody else's husband. It was usually that back in the day, right? And you're trying to get the man to be with you, right? It really is no ending, because the thing about bad magic is God didn't put all his good stuff on this earth for us to use poorly, right? So that's where we go back here. It's about the sorcery, right? He didn't put the amazing plants that we have here for us to use it to take somebody's husband away, right? That's an example I'm giving you, right? From my childhood, right? And so, because God didn't create that for your purpose, right? Sometimes
Right.
the magic won't work, right? And that's where in today's
That's true.
time, right, it don't work, right? Because God didn't create all his good stuff for you to use it for bad, right? And that's why in today's time, the gypsies are like, oh, I charge you $300 to get this work done. I promise he'll come back. And then the girl, because you get obsessed now, right? So you do the magic on someone and you wait, right? And then it doesn't work. And then the woman goes back to the gypsy, modern day gypsy, and they say it didn't work. And then she goes, oh, right. That's because you didn't do blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So now what we have to do is make it stronger. So now you have to give me $1,000. And then some people are $30,000 in trying to control some relationship that's not working. However, let me just point this out, Melissa. All magic works. All of it. At the right moon, at the right strike of that match, at the right intention, bad magic can work.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So
I understand.
you can get magic to work, but good luck if you're using it against someone. If you're making a couple break up without the consideration that those children will be without their dad. Good luck to you.
Mm.
Good luck to
It's
you.
like breaking up a
Yes.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like breaking up a family for your own selfish needs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what, too? It just makes me think about the evil eye of just having that you want that man,
Yes.
but at the same time you're kind of putting the evil eye on him.
Ah.
You know, so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
or you could put the evil eye on the relationship, and you don't realize that energy magnifies.
Yes. And here's the thing, Melissa, I'm not against cheating. I promise you, it is the one thing I'm never going to judge. I'm never going to judge cheating. What I will judge is your need to have someone at any cost. I don't like it when women do it with magic. I don't like it when men do it with aggression. Because with men, the power is in the words.
Oh, yes. You know what, too? You're making me think about, like, men, when they want to cheat, they want to go and argue with you for stupidness. Just to leave the house at, at 11:30 at night. Stupidness. So they can just go and be whoever they want. They go like, well, I'm leaving the house. I'm not coming back, right?
Yeah.
Over stupidness for no reason. They're like, oh, God, I want to hang out with Sonia, but I got to go argue with Wanda. Let me argue with Wanda so I can get out of here. You know? Poor Wanda. She's going to bed crying. All because he decided that it was, he decided to, he went and just decided to just, he knows that when he argues with Wanda, it makes it more easy to be with Sonia. Yes.
Yes.
Quietly.
Yes.
That's like, you already know he's cheating. If he's going out, if he's fighting with you and he's leaving the house, you already know.
Yes. Or on the flip side, when a man wants a woman that's married, then, he may not necessarily do magic, but don't sleep. On certain islands, men know who to go to, so don't sleep, right? But what they use is manipulation with their words and aggression, right? And force.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got stuck here at sorcery, but it was a good place to get stuck at. It was good to talk about sorcery. I know Melissa, that these Disney movies might make the word sorcery a good thing, but according to the Bible, it's a bad magic. Malevolent magic. Am I saying the
Well,
word
now
right?
we know, like, what is that? Yeah, what is the, now we know, like, what is bad magic?
Yes. Yes. All right.
Mm.
Let me continue on. Thank you for this conversation, Melissa, because it's just beautiful. Okay. Chapter 9, verse 10. I saw still another mighty angel coming down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was on his head. His face was like the sun, and his feet like pillars of fire. He had a little book in his hand, and he set his right foot on the sea and the left foot on the land. What is that? What tarot does that remind you of, Melissa?
Oh, you know what?
Tell me.
That reminds me of the Temperance card.
Yes.
Temperance.
Yes. But
that is, oh, wow.
Right?
Because
Right.
The rainbow's behind.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And the angel stepping one foot into the water.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got my tarot. See, everybody need to go make sure they go get that tarot point in simple. So they can
Yes.
definitely see it, you know.
Yes. Anthony Lewis Tarot, plain and simple. I'm going to pull up my tarot deck. Also, before I do that, the description of Revelation, I think, is why people are so scared. But let's look at the description one more time. I still saw another mighty, mighty angel coming down from heaven, clothed with a cloud. So he looked like a cloud. And a rainbow was on his head. Come on, Melissa. If I saw a cloud right now and a rainbow, I'm not going to think that's a bad angel coming down.
No.
I'm going to be like, oh, that is really bullful. That's bullful. Now, I'm going to look at a cloud and an angel side-eye. I'm going to be like, what? All right?
Wow.
And the rainbow.
It was cute.
Yes. And the rainbow was on his head, and his face was like the sun, Melissa. That's everything we get in the sky. And his feet.
The sun all the time. Yes.
All the time.
Oh my God.
Everything we see every day. The cloud, the rainbow, the sun. Like, come on, God. I see that every day. How am I'm supposed to be scared? Okay, here's the difference. And his feet like pillars of fire. That's where it changed. That's when you know. What? What happened here?
A fire.
And he had a book in his hand. And he set his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land. So, Melissa, I'm going to look up temperance for showed up right away. She does, in this deck, this is the Rachel True deck, she does have, I don't know if it's the moon or the sun at this point, 1 foot on land, 1 foot in the sea, right?
Right.
Melissa, the temperance is always in the form of an angel.
Yeah, it is.
What?
Oh no, like.
Yes. And in this deck,
Wow.
She has red hair, which could represent the foot of fire in the Bible. Oh, child, this is deep. Now I'm wondering a lot of stuff now. Okay, so hold on. Okay, he had a little book in his hand. He set his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land and cried with a loud voice as when a lion roars. When he cried out, 7 thunders uttered their voices. Now, when the 7 thunders,
You know what that's reminding me of?
what?
No, just hearing the word thunder.
Yeah,
It just reminded me of that time we heard the screams in Texas.
girl, tell me about
You
it.
know?
Yes, yeah, that was just before the
Ah.
COVID. Remember?
Yeah.
That was like November 2019, just before the COVID, or December. Maybe it's December, but it was just before the COVID.
Tracy,
Yeah.
you know in that book you have the Anthony Louise Tarot Plain and Simple.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody has the book right now, it's on 93 where you want to see the temperance card.
Yes.
You realize there's a triangle. We talked about triangle. Tracy,
Oh.
look at the
Oh.
We talked about the triangle, right?
Yeah. You.
And the angel has a triangle
Yeah.
on his top of his chest.
And in my you first of all, you brought up the triangle, and in this deck, the triangle is on her chest. The triangle, Melissa, is an elemental symbol. So an upright elemental symbol, I believe, guys, don't quote me just yet. An upright triangle, I believe, is air. Right?
And he came from the air to come down.
Exactly. Yep. Now you're getting it. Yes.
This is deep.
It's deep. Now you see, like, when you're studying, oh no, air symbol, wait a second, hold on. Air symbol has a line going across. Okay, so give me a second. Hold on. I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna find it. Oh, it's fire, Melissa.
Oh.
Upright symbol is of a triangle is fire. Upside down triangle, where the point is to the ground, is water. Upside down with the line going through it is earth. And right side up with the line going through it is air. So it's fire. So, and that's the component that's missing in the tarot, right? Remember, because I said I don't understand the leg part of it, the pillar of fire legs, right? So the symbol of fire, now that I realize this, I'm just discovering this with you, Melissa, is that the triangle represents what's missing, which is the fire legs, even though the sun represents fire, though. So I'm a little confused, but it symbolically, it's somewhere there.
You know what, too? When people see fire, they always attract. You know, no matter where it's at, our eyes are always glued to it.
Yes.
So it's like seeing the angel come down like that. It probably alarms people.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like the angel said, I'm making my grand appearance. See me?
Yes. So it says here, now when this... Go ahead, Melissa. Tell me.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, tell me. No. It's just a delay.
Oh,
so...
You know what? I was thinking too about the sun. Do you realize no matter where you go, the sun is always close to you?
No matter.
You realize that, like, why?
Yeah.
That's where I move, the sun moves.
And the moon, yes.
In the moon.
Even the moon, yeah. Yeah. Especially if it's at high noon, you know. It's so beautiful how the sun can follow you, especially when it's at high noon. It's so beautiful, Melissa, that the moon that I'm looking at, you get to see it from where you're at. Right?
Yeah.
Like God's creation is so beautiful. All right, let's finish up. So the heads of the horses were like the heads of lions, and out of their mouths came fire, smoke, and brimstone. By these 3 plagues, a third of mankind was killed by fire and smoke and brimstone, which came out. I'm sorry. Oh, child. I already did that. Hold on. Now, when the 7 thunders uttered their voices, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, seal up the things which the 7 thunders uttered. Do not write about them. The angel whom I saw standing on the sea and on the land raised up his hand to heaven and swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are in it, the earth and the things that are in it, the sea and the things that are in it, that there should be delay no longer. But in the days of the sounding of the 7th angel, when he was about to sound, the mystery of God would be finished, as he declared to his servants, the prophets. Then the voice which I heard from heaven spoke to me again and say, go take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel who stands on the sea and on the earth. So I went to the angel and I said to him, give me the little book. And he said to me, take and eat it. And it will make your stomach bitter, but it will be as sweet as honey in your mouth. Then I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it. And it was sweet as honey in my mouth. I know, this is getting crazy. It was sweet as honey in my mouth. But when I had eaten it, my stomach became bitter. And he said to me, you must prophesy again about many peoples, many nations, many tongues, and kings. All right, Melissa. Whoo, ciao. I don't even know what that means. Like, say that again.
You know what? I was like, just knowing that you hear the horns. Imagine how loud that is if we got to hear those horns.
Yes.
Like we couldn't handle it.
Yes, Melissa.
We couldn't handle that sound.
But
it could be a vibration sound that might be beautiful too.
Listen, we couldn't handle the sounds. We couldn't handle the voices of thunder. But Melissa, I have another question, and maybe we can answer this as a group next week.
Mm-hmm.
Who is writing Revelations? Who is this? I got the hiccups. Who is this person?
That's a good question.
Like, I'm getting from this Bible that there's one particular person that has privy to these visualizations. And I'm wondering something else, Melissa. Listen, one person, according to this Bible, is getting the visual But I'm wondering, are we getting the acts, not the literal visual interpretation of this person? Like, what if I'm getting the sun, the rainbow, right? And then a whole, and California is on fire, right? What if that's what I get to see? But what this person sees is the actual representation, the real representation, but I get it in bits and pieces.
It's like a lot of knowledge, like especially since the person went and ate the book. Which I'm like, why are you gonna eat the book for? But maybe it was, maybe when the angel presented it to the person, it felt like almost like it was temptation. Like I'm going to enjoy this. Like, oh, I really want this. So them eating it, not only did they get a bitter taste, it made, like they said, some dishonor, but it was kind of a way for them to digest whatever they were going to encounter later.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. And what if the bitter in the stomach was reality? Because this book has to be some form of the book of knowledge, right? But also,
it's like they were given a gift to
prophesize. But what if this is but what if this is the book of knowledge? And I don't know about you, but I would love to receive the book of knowledge, right? But what if it's also the book of reality? And that's why it was bitter to the stomach.
Because the reality is something that not everybody can handle.
Yes.
You know, that's like
90 seconds.
Predictions of the world type of situation, right?
Yes.
What if they were gifted from with that just for eating that book? That they got gifted to go and see world events that could be crazy as hell.
Yes.
But they can stomach it versus we can't stomach it, but we can take little doses of seeing it when it becomes true.
Yes.
We can visualize it.
Yes.
Hearing it in the mind,
60 seconds.
In our ears, in our mind, we're like, when they say, "Oh, world hunger," we're like, "Oh my God, I don't want to think about that."
But hold on a second.
And then when you see
hold on, Melissa.
Country,
and in the end, he goes, "You must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, tongues, and things." So I think this book is the book of knowledge and the book of reality, and what is like he has to prophesy. So it can't all be pretty, right? And maybe that's the bitter. All right, Melissa, guess what? The show's got to end. We got 10 seconds. Melissa, your show comes on. Wait, Melissa, your show comes on at 12:30 today.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
The Melissa Burton Show. What's the telephone number, Melissa?
Oh, the telephone number, I will tell y'all right now.
914.
And you can call in to it's 914. Let me get to it. I can tell y'all right now. It's 914-205. 5699. And make sure you press 1 to be in the queue with me. And today you get a free reading.
Yes, free reading with Melissa. Let me do it for you. Free reading. Okay. Free reading with Melissa at 914-205-5699. Press 1 to get into the queue so that Melissa can see your number and answer a free question for you guys. Melissa does the Melissa Burton Show every Saturday around 12:30-ish. She's really good at what she does. So join Melissa today at 12:30 Eastern. And Melissa, you also talk about crystals, don't you?
Yes, I talk about crystals and stones, and I just talk about how my week went, and whatever else Spirit wants me to talk about, because we talk Spirit all day long, so it's like you know, the conversation can turn into, so it could be an aha moment for somebody else that's listening.
I love hearing about your week, because that brings me back to the original conversation we had when we were talking today. We were talking about communicating with the elements and the birds and how you notice all of that. So I love hearing how your week went, what you've noticed out in the world, what was funny on the bus, what the Uber driver did, you know?
It's like we learned today about change. You know,
Yes.
we're going to see change every single day, regardless if we want it or not. It's our new reality every day.
Yes. So, Melissa, it's 11 o'clock over there?
It's 11 o'clock. Oh, yeah, it's 11:02 over here.
Okay, so Lottie, it's an hour and a half away. So, an hour and a half away from your time is Melissa's show. 914-205-5699. And it's on Blog Talk Radio. But if you just call in, you can listen to it. If you press 1, then she can come and, you know, answer a question for you for free. Melissa, thank you.
Thank you so much. This is so juicy. I'm like,
It's juicy.
it's so juicy.
It's like, I feel like every word in the revelation is salacious, right? And when I started to describe, like, this angel coming down looking like a cloud. Oh, I'm going to be looking at clouds real twisted now. I'm going to be like, angel, Like, you can't fool me no more.
And just knowing the Temperance card.
And
the Temperance card is what? It's one of the major arcana cards.
Yes.
Isn't that something?
Yes. Yes. So weird. It's all so weird. All right, Melissa. Thank you so much. And
Thank you so much for having me, Tracy.
I'll be talking. I'll be listening to your show. Hold on. Let me just write this. Blog Talk Radio. Let me just put this in here for Lottie.com. Right? And
right.
Hold on, Melissa. It's the Melissa Burton Show. All right, let me get up out of here, Melissa. I got 5% left on my computer. Melissa, I love you. I love you so much. I'm so honored. Take it easy. Love you, love you, love you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye.